Okay.
So originally when the bike launched in 85, they had come up with a Y1 and a Y2 block, which was
Okay.
essentially the Japanese import.
Okay.
After which, when they started manufacturing here in India,
So guys, what we have here is a Yamaha RX 100. It's nice and shiny. It needs a wash, but again, this was an impromptu video decision, so the owner really didn't have the time. So the owner, Mr. Gautam, please come in the picture. Hello. So Gautam, tell us a little about your RX.
So this is my first bike that I got about 10 years ago. When I just started college. So this was my college go-to bike, and it's a 1989 Yamaha RX 100 that I had picked up back in the day when I was in college.
Brand new or second hand?
No, second hand. So I had picked it up second hand in 2013, if I'm not wrong.
1982.
1989.
89. So was it the made in Japan, or I'm assuming this
No,
is
so
the
1989 only had the carburetor in the Japanese carburetor. Otherwise, it's pretty much Indian.
Okay.
Until 87ish is when it was a complete Japanese import. 86, 87 is when they stopped it and then they started manufacturing it here in India.
Okay.
So only the Japanese carburetor, which is the Mikuni carburetor, but otherwise everything is pretty much Indian.
So could you explain what is the G? See, I can see the G2 written over here.
So Yamaha initially came with a few series of blocks.
Okay.
So originally when the bike launched in 85, they had come up with a Y1 and a Y2 block, which was essentially the Japanese import.
Okay.
After which, when they started manufacturing here in India, they came up with the G series, which was G1, G2, G3 and G4.
And what are the differences between the Y1 and the G4?
So the Y is a completely Japanese made block versus the G, which is an Indian made block.
Okay.
So that's pretty much the difference when it comes to these blocks. Obviously, when it comes to a 135, then the block initial or the block series changes. So then that comes as an E.
Okay.
So that's pretty much the difference when it comes to these different series of blocks.
But my question is, why was it from G1 to G4? If it's still a 100cc block or 98cc block, why the 1 to 4? What was the difference?
So they were basically just series. So I remember, I think in 88 or 89 is when they first came with G1.
Okay.
Towards the half of 89, they started with G2. So that's why you see mine is a November registered 89. So that's why you see a G2 on it.
Okay.
Then there is also G3 and G4 that came much later. I think in 91 or something, they came up with a G2, the G3. And later on with a G4. So there's nothing much in difference when it comes to that. It's only series, because obviously they might have given it to some supplier, OEM supplier from Yamaha who was building it. So he first made G1, then he came with G2. So there's not much of a
that
difference.
actually tells which year is the block from.
Not essentially, because invariably, at least the bikes that you see in today's time, they have different blocks. So I've seen an 89 RX 100 with a G4 block. So it really doesn't depend on the year as such. But yeah, if the bike is stock and completely clean and it was completely original, then yeah, you might be able to guess what year it was according to the series that you see.
Okay, so that's some good information for our viewers. This is a made in Japan carburetor.
Yeah, that's a Mikuni carburetor from Japan. Later on, the Indian carburetors were called Carb.
Okay.
So that came on later when the Indian bikes started coming in. So that's a Carb carburetor. Not much of a difference personally to speak. But yeah, the Japanese feels of it, and according to the market, is always there.
Yeah.
So that's that.
We are a sucker of imports, man.
Yeah, totally. I mean,
that's the problem.
So it's the world's craze about Japanese and Japanese products when it comes to the Yamahas, which is why people go nuts over it. Otherwise, performance-wise, it barely makes a difference. Only thing that makes a difference is those 86 first lot ones, because they were different, completely different in the way they rode. So the original Japanese bikes that came in 85 and 86, they were completely different. The one that came with the Y blocks, they were completely different when they used to run. Comparatively, the other Yamahas, the hundreds, when it came with the G series, they're pretty much the same.
Pretty much the same, okay. But again, with reference to two-stroke, global domination was Kawasaki, Yamahas and all.
True. Back in the day, there were a lot of Suzukis as well. But yeah, unfortunately, India didn't see a lot of Suzukis. We only saw the Shogun and the Shaolin and the Samurais.
Yeah.
But otherwise, abroad, there were quite a few Suzukis also, and even Hondas for that matter. But yeah, Hondas were more into force.
We had 3-cylinder, 2-stroke Suzukis abroad, man.
Yeah.
And we had stupid 98cc.
Well, I mean, the 4 cylinders, 3 cylinders, twin cylinders. There are a lot of these 2-strokes that were there outside. But again, because of India and India's norms on pollution and stuff, they had to stop it. at
Not
one
only
point.
that, India was a closed economy, so you had to have partnership with an Indian-based company.
True that.
That's why it was Yamaha Escorts,
Escorts,
not
correct.
Yamaha.
Correct. Correct.
But again, that was the decision made by the government that time. ठीक है. So, just off topic, your Kinetic Hondas also, is it the made in Japan wala
No,
engine?
no, no.
or the-
So my Kinetic is the Kinetic ZX Zoom, which is a
Oh, the
2003
Zoom,
registered,
the latest
last
one.
of the two strokes.
Okay, we'll come to that as
Sure.
well in the next video.
Sure.
Okay.
So yeah,
So-
basic stuff that I've done on this bike is front disc, which is from the Gladiator.
Before I come on the disc, the exhaust is standard.
It's a standard exhaust. It's looking dirty right now, so
No, as
Mind
I
me for that,
mentioned,
don't
I've
mind me for that.
justified, not justified, I've just come across and I told, chalo, video banate. And I thought, obviously, your bike is going to be clean.
sure.
Even in a dirty state, it looks clean. So,
Thanks, yeah, thanks for that.
yes.
So yeah, man. So
Okay, now
very basic stuff that I've done
Huh.
on this bike is just running the Gladiator fork assembly and the disc up front.
I can see that. Okay.
So gives a good bite and gives that extra weight that you needed on the front.
Hmm.
So yeah, it works out very well because now with these brakes, I'm much more confident with riding the bike.
Okay, when you mention extra weight, is there a difference between the weight of a stock RX of 100 drum setup and
Yeah. There is. So I'm not sure of the numbers, but it should be somewhere between 5 to 8 kilos plus minus.
is it?
Somewhere
That's a lot.
around that, I feel.
Okay.
I could be wrong, just letting you
Yeah,
guys
I
know.
mean, I'm also a little apprehensive on the numbers. 5 to 8 kilos for a 100 kg bike is like.
But you don't feel difference in the performance. I mean,
Okay.
even now, if you have a stock RX 100 with the drums and you're riding both of these side by side, you won't feel any difference in the power or say the top speed in that sense.
Yeah, but even I feel like we should keep the bike as stock as possible, but a disc brake is an absolute necessity.
Oh yeah, totally.
Because there are far more idiots on the road in 2022 than in 1990s.
I was just gonna say the same. That I'd rather be more safe on my bike
Yeah.
than trusting someone else with theirs.
Yeah, or just a person randomly crossing the road.
Totally.
Okay.
So just other few things that I've done. I've gone for the RD style handlebar with the mid rod. There's also an auxiliary light from Bosch that I've just put just for added lighting.
How much?
This is I think 800 or 900 bucks, but it's out of stock now on Amazon.
Original, eh?
Yeah, Bosch ka original.
Oh, 800 bucks, not bad.
Yeah, it's a good.
Acha,
deal
you
as
have the
well.
Bobo.
Yeah, I've got
I'm
the Bobo
putting the
phone
same
holder.
thing on my Impulse.
It's a good holder, yeah. So that's the same thing that I have on the Impulse as well. The complete cover that you saw. That's also a Bobo. That's
only,
also a
okay.
Bobo.
Okay, perfect. And how much did you get the handlebar for?
I think I got this for 400 bucks, for 300 or 400. So it's
Okay.
cheaper when you have a cheaper bike, right? For the if you say.
But
you
I can
want-
see this is thinner as compared
Yeah,
to
this
your.
is much thinner. So the mid rod
Impulse.
here is much thinner. There it's got the same gauge as your main rod.
Okay.
So that's the only difference when it comes to that.
But again, this is not used for off-roading, so it really doesn't
no.
matter.
So initially I used to use this bike as well for off-roading until I got the Impulse. So I have done quite a few off-roads with this as well. But yeah, again, I'm not a big off-roader. I'm more into touring. So that's the
Okay.
reason why I've kept it the way it is. So that's the front that you saw, which is the Gladiator fork setup.
Yes.
The rear has got a Honda Stunner suspension.
Okay.
So what this adds on is compared to the Gabriel stock suspension is that it gives me slightly better height. So then I don't have my tire rushing upon the
Okay.
back mudguard.
And with reference to your tire, any specific brand that
Yeah,
you
so
have
I'm
gone
running
ahead
on
with?
V-Rubber M45 copies up front. So they are V-Rubbers. I don't know the model name, but yeah, they look pretty much like your M45 Michelins.
V-Rubber.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's V-Rubber.
And,
And the rear is an IRC. The rear
And
is an IRC.
any particular benefit of this brand, or is just that
So
Milo Rakha?
I'll just tell you a small story attached to this. I have a friend of mine who stays close by. He's a part of our RX group in Mumbai. He has done Leh Ladakh on his RX 135 5-speed. Started from Andheri, went all the way to Leh Ladakh and back. So he's been using these tires and he's had a very good response with that. So I blindly just trusted him and I went ahead with this.
And how long have you been?
These are 5-year-old tires.
Okay, and the grip looks pretty
Yeah,
decent.
intact because I don't use the bike a lot anymore. So it's pretty much, yeah, I think it's done about 8,000 kilometers in the 5 years on these tires. So
So your
still a lot of
Yamaha
rubber
can.
left. Still a lot of
Yeah.
rubber left since I don't ride it a lot.
Hmm.
But otherwise, they're a really good pair of tires. Really good pair of tires.
Yeah, tires is important, man. Anyways, these are bloody thin tires. You have hardly an inch touching the ground.
True that.
Perfect. The rest, everything has been kept stock. papers, everything is in place.
Yes,
I'm
all of that is
assuming
in place.
at least passing this is not a problem.
Not at all, not at all. Since I've kept it the stock cool look. Oh, by the way, just wanted to mention you guys, these are original Yamaha painted tanks. They're not repainted tanks.
Ooh.
So you won't get to see this maroon color otherwise in a repainted this thing, because you know how repaints never get to the same stock color. So these are original tank and panels that I picked up around 7 years ago from Yamaha.
This is Yamaha quality.
Yeah, so this is Yamaha
Right
quality
here.
you're seeing right here.
Perfect, man. And I like your stickers also.
Yeah, just a few subtle stuff. I like sticking.
Beware
I
of
like
food trucks.
putting stickers on my bikes. So
90s kid. And give me a sticker where it's mentioned 80s kid. I'll put that on my bike. Do not remove helmet. Achha, this is a very important sticker, obviously. And this is your Instagram.
yo, that's my dog's Instagram handle. I have 2 dogs. They're indies, so that's their Instagram handle in case anyone wants to follow them.
Very good. Perfect. So this is how your bike is. चाबी है क्या तेरे पास?
Yeah, I do.
The stock RX sound. Perfect. You have a kill switch?
Yeah, I've got a kill switch on that.
Okay. Is this stock?
It's not a stock one. I think this came on the Suzuki Shogun or the Shaolin, if I'm not wrong.
Because I've not seen this on a Yamaha.
No. So you'll. It's a Suzuki part.
Oh, I may be wrong. Okay.
It's a Suzuki part. Never came on a Yamaha.
Okay. And considering how teeny mini a battery is, this LED is not an issue?
No. So I have upgraded the battery because I don't run on a 2T oil pump, neither do I use the 2T pump.
Okay.
So I've cut out the 2T tank and I've put a bigger battery only so that I can accommodate the power for this.
And the wiring, is it I think it's a 6 volt or a 12 volt wiring, right?
So this originally an 89 used to come with a 6 volt, but I've converted the entire thing to a 12 volt. So right from the magnet to the entire wiring harness is now a 12 volt. So that's the reason why this runs better now.
Okay, this is stock, right? The front hand
Headlight?
headlight.
No, the headlight is from a CD Dawn. It's a glass dome from CD Dawn.
Oh, CD Dawn, and you have this Minda.
Yeah, it's a Minda.
But it looks vintage.
No, so it's.
But I think the CD Dawn is slightly bigger, right?
Yeah, it's slightly bigger. It's about 7.3 or 7.5 inches as compared to your 7-inch round one that came on the RX. But yeah, it gives a much better light. Low beam is anyway shit because it's pretty much the same in every bike. But high beam is considerably better. So that's the reason why I've gone for that.
No, I've seen quite a few people trying to put the Yazdi headlights ahead, and I feel it's a little too big for the bike.
My problem with the Yazdi headlight is I personally don't like the way it looks because
it doesn't look good. Yeah,
it's got that grill work on the back and stuff like that. I don't like it because it doesn't appeal to the RX's feel.
Yeah, it looks.
It's much better on the Yazdi though.
It looks damn sexy on the Yazdi, but it looks off place with the RX.
Very off on the RX. That's the reason why I didn't go ahead with that. This is a glass dome. As compared, so CD Dawn comes with 2 kind of headlights. One is the plastic dome and one is the glass dome.
Glass dome.
This is a glass dome, so it gives you better reflection and better throw of the light. Basically.
Nice. Cool. Thanks for coming on the channel. And I think we're going to cover something very important, the kinetic Honda Zoom, in the next video once it gets. I think it's still under process of like coming 100% alive, right?
It's completely restored, but I've not switched it on for the past 6 months because of the monsoon.
Okay.
So even now for us to get the bike out and to start it will be a bit of a problem. But yeah, I'll hopefully be calling Rustam soon and we'll plan a video out for that as well once it's running.
Perfect. Okay, thank you.
Cool. Thanks a lot, Rustam.